In the ancient city of Cyprus, around 300 BC, a wealthy trader named Zeno lived. While sailing from Phoenicia to Piraeus, Zeno's ship, which held all his life's work, sank. In one swift moment, everything he owned was gone. No one was to blame. It just happened. It was simply life, raw and unpredictable, washing away his fortune instantly. Imagine for a moment, you are Zeno. How would you feel watching everything you've built vanish into the sea? Anger? Deep sadness? Perhaps you'd feel utterly betrayed by fate, wondering how such a thing could happen. For most of us, these emotions would be natural, but not for Zeno, the man who would become the father of Stoicism. One single event changed Zeno forever. A small but profound shift in his mindset began, like a tiny ripple in the ocean that grows into a wave. He realized that while he couldn't control life's events, he could control how he responded. He could still be at peace, even in chaos. Zeno immersed himself in the wisdom of great thinkers like Socrates and other philosophers. Over time, he developed and taught Stoicism, a philosophy of acceptance, strength, and calm resilience. According to Zeno, while we may not have control over what happens to us, we do have control over how we let it shape us. Instead of cursing his fate or being consumed by grief, Zeno focused on maintaining his composure. He remained calm, steady, and centered, despite his loss. At the heart of Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions, but about learning how to manage them. Today, many people view Stoics as emotionless, unbreakable, and somehow immune to fear, anger, or sadness. However, the true essence of Stoicism runs much deeper. It's not about being cold, it's about choosing not to be ruled by emotional extremes. Stoicism is a lens through which to see the world and our place in it. It's a way of life that has stood the test of time for thousands of years. Even now, Stoicism can be as life-changing as it was back then. It teaches us to transform our emotions, to turn hardships into wisdom, and to see setbacks as lessons. Perspective is everything. No two people experience the world in the same way, and so Stoicism gives each of us a way to process our unique struggles. The Stoics didn't lock their philosophy behind walls. They gathered openly, discussing and teaching these ideas in public places, because they believed Stoicism could benefit everyone, from slaves to emperors. It wasn't just for the elite. It was for anyone who wanted to live with clarity, strength, and purpose. And so, people from all walks of life embraced Stoicism. Some of the most famous Stoics include Epictetus, who had once been a slave, Seneca, a renowned statesman, and Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the most powerful men to have ever lived. These early Stoics practiced what they preached, showing that true strength lies not in never falling, but in rising every time you do. So, how will you respond when life knocks you down? Will you be like Zeno and let it make you stronger? With Stoicism, even life's hardest moments can lead us to a place of unshakable peace. The Stoics were trailblazers, rejecting division and championing equality. They even created the word cosmopolitan, meaning citizen of the world. Today, when we hear cosmopolitan, we think of vibrant, diverse cities like New York, Toronto, Dubai, and London. This unity and togetherness, bringing people together from all walks of life, was at the heart of Stoic philosophy. When Stoicism was founded, society had strict limits on what women could do, including the study of philosophy. But the Stoics pushed against these boundaries. Musonius Rufus, the teacher of Epictetus, boldly argued that the pursuit of virtue wasn't just for men. He said, "The longing for virtue isn't just found in men. women feel it too. Women, no less than men, take pleasure in noble and just deeds and reject the opposite. He went on to ask why men should have the right to seek out wisdom and live well through philosophy, but not women. Stoicism welcomed women as students and practitioners long before this was a popular idea. So, what draws people to Stoicism even now? In our unpredictable world, emotions can easily take over, making life feel chaotic. The Stoics taught us that while we can't control what happens, we can manage our reactions. Think about rain. It's essential. It waters crops, cools the earth, and fills rivers. Yet, if it catches you without an umbrella, it's just unpleasant. But we don't cry over rain because we expect it. It's a natural part of life, like any challenge or hardship, and we know it will pass. Stoicism teaches us to approach life's storms the same way. Instead of being surprised by setbacks, we prepare our minds to face them. One voluntary discomfort practice is designed to build resilience and gratitude. It's simple. Sleep on the floor instead of your bed, take a cold shower, and eat plain food for a few days. These small acts remind us that comfort is a luxury, not a given. They build strength, teaching us that even when things get rough, we'll endure and perhaps even grow. Today's world often tells us that happiness is something to be bought, that we need the latest gadget, the perfect look, or a high-paying job to be truly content. Stoicism offers an antidote to these messages, showing us that happiness doesn't come from material things but from a resilient mindset. We come into this world knowing nothing and learn from home, school, and the world around us. However, these sources often teach conflicting lessons. Stoicism encourages us to seek wisdom and shape our perspective, drawing from life's experiences to create a mindset of resilience and peace. This is the timeless message of Stoicism. No matter who we are or where we're from, we can all become citizens of the world, ready to face life's challenges with strength and grace. Do we need to absorb every piece of knowledge out there? If we do, we risk setting impossible standards for ourselves, leading to disappointment and dissatisfaction. That's no way to live. Instead, we should focus on improving for our own sake, not for anyone or anything else. When we start attaching hopes or external rewards to our actions, disappointment often follows. All too often, people try to fill the emptiness they feel inside with material things, spending on a flashy car, buying a big house, or even starting a family. Sometimes we pursue these things for the image or status they bring, not for their real personal value. Stoicism reminds us that if we live this way, we're placing our happiness in things outside ourselves, things that can fail. Cars break down, natural disasters happen, and relationships sometimes end. Even the free things in life come with a price, the space they take up in our minds and lives. Seneca wisely observed, "Embracing a simpler life opens up room for what truly matters to you." The key is to ground our happiness in our intrinsic worth, not in anything material. Stoicism teaches us to keep a steady mind, no matter what life throws at us. At the end of the day, we control very little about what happens, but we have full control over how we respond. The dichotomy of control is a fundamental concept in Stoic philosophy. Epictetus once wrote, "The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals, not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I control." In other words, Stoics encourage us to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot. directing our energy toward what is within our power, value on the things within our control. Setting goals is important, but breaking down when things don't go our way doesn't serve us. From a Stoic perspective, letting setbacks affect our self-worth is pointless. Creating YouTube videos, while easier than running an empire, still has its challenges. First, you come up with an idea, research it, rethink it if it doesn't work, script the video, film, edit, make the thumbnail, and write a title. Everything before uploading is within your control. But the moment you hit upload, it's in the hands of the YouTube algorithm. Yet, many people judge their success by the views, likes, or followers they get. Numbers largely out of their control. So, do we have to carry all the knowledge of the world on our shoulders? Not really. If we do, we're likely to set impossible standards, filling ourselves with disappointment and dissatisfaction. That's not living. Instead, we should focus on bettering ourselves for our own sake, not for anyone else's approval or reward. Chasing external validation only leads to disappointment. Think about it. Many people try to fill their emptiness with material things. They buy expensive cars, big houses, or even start families, all in the hope of finding fulfillment in the things around them. But Stoicism teaches us that basing happiness on things outside ourselves is like building on sand. Cars break down, houses can be destroyed, and even relationships can end. Living with less means freeing ourselves from the invisible chains we often put on ourselves. Seneca once wrote, "Living with less makes room for the things that truly matter in life."